What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Nicey Chunga Benny. I'm here with my co-host, Greg King.
What's good?
And you're listening to the Ball Fake Podcast. Now, our podcast is strictly about NBA basketball and collegiate basketball, NCAA. We'll be discussing headlines, hot takes, draft, rising stars, anything that revolves around basketball. So today we're going to get into the NBA playoffs. We're going to be discussing the Lakers and Rockets series, Milwaukee and Miami series, how that ended, what Milwaukee needed to do in order to be victorious in that series. We'll also be discussing how Steve Nash is the new head coach for the Brooklyn Nets and the firing of Billy Donovan. We might not cover too much about that, but we're going to do the best that we can. First and foremost, we're going to start with the Lakers series. Greg, how do you feel about the Lakers series?
It was a good win last night, bro. It was a really good win. It was a fun, entertaining game, too. Let's not forget about that.
Right.
But the Lakers played good. The first three quarters was kind of really back and forth, but then they locked in the fourth. And what I said, is that they needed to be more aggressive, and that's what they did. They came out, LeBron and AD aggressive. LeBron came out, had I think 29 in the first half.
Yeah, off 10 for 14 shooting.
So, yeah, he played really, really good, and then everybody just fed off that energy. So
yeah, I think Houston's interesting because obviously they don't have any bigs. So you would think, all LA has to do in order to win the series, throw the ball in the 80. That's what the average mind thinks. Throw the ball in the 80, let him drop 45, does that. No. But in all reality, this series it's about those spot up guys. This series is about those guys like KCP, Danny Green, even Deion Waiters when he gets his minutes, J.R. Smith. This series is about those type of guys because obviously they're gonna hound AD in the post or whatnot. PJ Tucker, he's been doing a phenomenal job. He's probably done the best job of somebody his size guarding AD. He's given up a very, very big height advantage. They've been forcing what I saw a lot last night. Discussing Game 3. What I saw a lot last night. Houston, they really just they faced up on they fronted the post.
Yeah, on AD.
Yeah. So with Rondo being the passer that he is, he did a phenomenal job of finding AD on the the spin for the oops. He threw about what did he throw? Two of them,
three of them. I saw a lot of them. I mean, that spin lob is really effective.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help when you have no help
on the backside.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Houston they'll probably make some adjustments heading into Game 4, but I think what a lot of people don't discuss too is like how Houston switches a lot. With them being undersized, it's kind of it's a big risk and whatnot, but they do a pretty good job. Like James Harden, he does a pretty good job as leading his team on the defensive end. Like people have been really surprised of how well they've been playing lately on that end of the basketball. Because, they haven't been known for defense at all these past few years. I mean, Mike D'Antoni, he's an offensive type of guy. So, and you obviously see that when you trade away a guy like Clint Capella, who was giving you decent boards and, you know what I'm saying?
But they got Eric Gordon back, so that helped too. That helped on the defensive end. But as far as the Lakers defense, the Lakers really performed the double team really well, showing different looks, like going at Harden in different ways on the double team. Now, sometimes like first three quarters they were struggling with it because when they double team Harden, then Russ didn't settle at the 3-point line. He cut to the basket, got easy layups. I mean, the whole team was doing that. But once they kind of in the fourth quarter switched up the double team, they really stopped the Rockets from really doing what they wanted to do.
And speaking of Russ, what do you think Russ needs to improve on in this series for him to play? But like he didn't play necessarily. I think he had these past two games. I think he's played pretty well given the fact that he's coming off a right quad injury. But he had 13 in the first quarter and whatnot. But what else do you think he needs to bring to the table in order for them to come up victorious in Game 4?
Handle the ball better. And what I mean by that is like. Harden doesn't need to really do everything. He doesn't need to sit up at the top and do ISO all day, really just sit there. Sometimes Russell can come up the floor and create the offense and move the offense and drive to the paint and get his looks. He needs to be more aggressive.
Yeah, I mean,
you get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I think it's more so on the fact that I think his decision making needs to be slightly better. And like I said, he's been playing good in this series, like these past two games especially. He hasn't been throwing as many turnovers as he did in the Oklahoma series and whatnot. But I think his decision making needs to be slightly better. His turnovers, it's decreased, but as a unit, we need somebody who's gonna, take the pressure off of Harden, and Westbrook being that go-to guy to do that. I don't think he's done a horrible job, but in order for Houston to just come out victorious, I think you're gonna need big numbers from Westbrook and all that. They obviously need to shoot the 3 ball well, because that's what they
live and die by the 3.
It's their motto.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Westbrook, he's just going to have to give you crazy numbers, and then you're just going to hope that your bench and your other 3-point shooters, they are knocking down shots and playing enough defense in order to get the win.
So how can they slow down AD? Because AD has been killing them. So how can you slow him down? Do you throw some double teams at him? Do you come – like they've been coming – the double teams been coming from the baseline, from the backside, from the help, leaving the corner open, so it could either be Danny Green, Markieff Morris, any of those guys in the corner. Do you care about them just shooting? Because Danny Green's been struggling. Markieff Morris had one good game 2, but other than that, he's been struggling through the playoffs. So do you care about the corner being wide open and just focus on AD?
That's a great question. As far as the corner, I'd have to, just do the best that you can to run him off the 3-point line. Like you said, Danny Green, he's been struggling. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, that's a guy he's been playing pretty well this series, so you might want to definitely get a hand out there. But as far as defending AD, the thing about superstars in this league, they are what they are. You cannot lock them down. The only person that can stop them is themselves. So what I would say about AD is, I believe them throwing a second defender at him, not necessarily double team, but like send the late double team when you see that he's about to go ISO ball on that low block, because he likes to fade and whatnot. So maybe that guy that's on the top of the not the top of the key, but on the left or right wing, maybe have him, play help side defense and then try to come from behind type stuff whenever he, gets into that fadeaway shot. But there's not too much that you can do with Anthony Davis. The only way you're going to stop the Lakers is if, you contain, you score more than them in the fast break. If you're Houston, you have to knock down your 3 balls, limit your turnovers, stop the fast break for LA, and your bench has to outscore their bench. That's the only way these guys will be able to come out victorious in this series.
I agree. And the other thing that I want to point out too, I'm kind of tired of Frank Vogel starting JaVale McGee. Should he just start the game with the small ball lineup? So which I'm talking about, either Kuzma at the 4 or Markieff Morris at the 4, and just don't play the bigs. Don't play Howard or JaVale McGee at the start of the game, because then you end up taking them out. They only play like 7 minutes, and they just start the first quarter always looks kind of wonky. From the Lakers. So maybe they just start with the small ball lineup and just get in the groove.
Given the fact that them going to McGee, and he hasn't really done too much for them.
Yeah, he's a 7-foot center, not scoring on 6'5", 6'6" guards.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys. He's one of those lob type of pick and roll type of guys where you're not rolling for him to score. You rolling to throw the lob. So I think their best bet is to play small ball. Have Kuzma start for them. That's a guy that can bring you out to the 3-point line and, penetrate into the paint and get buckets or whatnot. But, yeah, I would play small ball if I'm LA.
Yeah.
I would play small ball.
But I think LA – so do you think LA would close out the next 2 games, or will the Rockets get one more?
If the Rockets get one – this is the thing about Houston and the Clippers, these are 2 teams. They could be down 21, and they were actually down a little bit. LA went on a few runs in Game 3. They were actually down a little bit, and they came back in I believe it was the 3rd quarter. But they're one of those teams that they're always going to be in it because they are such good 3-point shooters, and they play good enough defense. So I think it'll be a close one in Game 4, and definitely the eliminating game. But I would not be surprised if this series goes beyond 5 or 6 games, honestly. But I do believe that the Lakers will try to close things out and try to finish business in Game 4 and 5.
Okay. Me too. I think they will close it out in 6. I'm going to keep that prediction. But, yeah, the Lakers are looking really strong. They keep playing good, and love to see LeBron break another record last night with the most playoff wins. So
yeah, that was phenomenal. I actually didn't know he had that many playoff wins, so – That's another thing you can throw in the Jordan and LeBron debate.
Yep. And the next topic of conversation is the Bucks and the Heat. Where do we stand on that?
Yeah,
Are you disappointed of the Bucks?
This series was a very interesting series. I was really excited to watch it because I know Milwaukee. They're one of those teams that they're gonna take away every single thing that you guys are able to do. They want not necessarily. I take that back. They're one of those teams. They're taking away everything, and they're forcing you to beat them off the 3-point shot. Now, with that being said, Miami, they rank second in 3-point field goal percentage after Utah, obviously. So I thought that would be, you know what I'm saying?
Interesting matchup, yeah.
Yeah, because, these guys over here on South Beach, they live and die by the three. They have so many great shooters in Tyler Hero, Jay Crowder, Duncan Robinson. Jay Crowder especially, he's been phenomenal in this series. He's been getting to his spots, you know what I'm saying, playing good enough defense for Miami to come out with wins. But Milwaukee, what do they need to do in order to, you know what I'm saying, bounce back from these two devastating playoffs?
I think they need a point guard. It's been swirling around the league that everybody's noticing that they need a point guard. Eric Bledsoe is not the option. Dude went 2 for 14 last night. Was not shooting well. Yeah, he created 9 assists for his teammates, but man, we need some scoring. And if you're not going to score, then you need to play defense. So I think they need a true point guard, someone like Chris Paul or something like that, who can come in and like kind of lead the offense and take the hands off of Giannis. Giannis is doing so much.
You're right.
But
people keep throwing up names like Chris Paul and stuff, but at the end you have to also realize, what am I giving up for Chris Paul, for one, and for two, how are we going to be able to get him? Because,
well, maybe it's not Chris Paul. Maybe it's just a veteran point guard.
You're right.
on a cheaper salary.
You're right. Not too many free agents available, and
this free agency class is terrible. But
I wouldn't say it's terrible, but there's not too many notable names. Out there.
Yeah, I agree.
But
back to the series, I just think that they need a veteran help in the point guard position who can, run the offense, take it out of Giannis' hands a little bit, and just create more open shots and it kind of expand Giannis' game too, because then he can kind of post up sometimes. He can take the ball and dribble it up, maybe go straight to the lane. I mean, he can switch up. He's not just a downhill person every single possession. Everybody knows.
I have two different perspectives on Milwaukee. I think for one, we have to question Mike Budenholzer. It's the second year in a row you've been out coached. Eric Spoelstra out coached you this year, and last year was Nick Nurse. He knew that, these teams are going to build these walls around Giannis or whatnot in order for him to not be able to go into the paint and dominate. So as a coach, what are you going to do in order to help Giannis play his game and also get others involved? He basically just, kind of went with the flow. I mean, if you look at Milwaukee's offense, especially when Giannis has the ball in his hands, there's a lot of standing around, not too much movement. The reason why Houston is so well at their offensive schemes is because they got a lot of back cuts, off-ball screens, guys flashing to the middle and stuff like that. So there's a lot of movement going on. It keeps the defense on their toes versus Milwaukee. They're having these defenses play flat-footed, and it's easier to contain Giannis because, he's not one of those guys who's just going to take you off the dribble and pull up for a 15-foot jump shot. He's not going to take no step-back three like a James Harden. So I think Mike Budenholzer, he's questionable. I would not be surprised if after next season he was gone. But I think people need to start focusing on that as well. As far as Giannis returning, I cannot see Giannis.
Yeah, I don't see him returning either. He said that he's going to return, but
no, I'm saying I can't. You think he's going to leave?
I think he's going to leave.
Are you serious?
I think he's going to leave. He says that he's going to return, but I think he's going to leave.
I can't see Giannis leaving. For one, where are you going to go? For two, Giannis, he's not one of those guys that likes team up. Like, he doesn't even work out with guys in the offseason, so I couldn't see him going anywhere to, join a super team or anything like that.
I mean, he wants to win, but we hear this for guys who gets drafted by the team and they perform bad with that team and they don't get any help with that team that they got drafted by and they end up leaving, and it's just been the same narrative. So I'm just going off of past experiences and that guys want to win. they care about their status and how people look at them in the league. Even though they say they don't, they do. So I think Giannis wants to win, and he wants people to notice that, hey, if I'm going to be this MVP caliber player people say I am, I need a ring. I need to be around people who are going to bring me a ring. So that's why I think he's going to leave.
In response to your response, where do you think he would fit best? Because if I'm Giannis, I would not want to go to the West Coast. I don't want to have to fight my way into the playoffs every year. In the East Coast, you have teams like Boston, Toronto, but it's like those are teams that you played in the past, and especially Toronto.
He doesn't fit in Toronto or Boston. I think he's gritty. I think he's hardworking, so I think he fits with the Heat and Jimmy Butler and them and that young core. I don't know how that would.
Would he really have the balls to actually go and join a team that he just beat that he? Will he have the balls to go to a team that he just lost to?
I don't think he's ready for that criticism, but I think he would do it.
Oh, I could. Me personally, I couldn't. I bet my salary that he would stay. To be honest,
you tripping, bro?
Just because honestly, just because it's like he really doesn't have any other options. Now, what if I'm Giannis? I would have multiple coaches with the people in the higher offices or whatnot. Hey, what are you guys looking to bring in? I need a score because just last week, earlier this week, Richard Jefferson made a comment about how Giannis is a Pippen and he needs his Jordan, and I think that's he's completely right on that. I don't think he's a Scottie Pippen, but he definitely needs a scorer, not necessarily a Jordan or anything, but he needs one of those because Giannis's game, it does not fit the fourth quarter. Like Giannis is not one of those guys that you can give the ball to in the fourth quarter and then expect him to just go give you back. Yes, he can score in transition if you guys get out and run, but as far as like I'm talking about in the half court offense, half court set, when you need a basket late in the shot clock, Giannis is not one of those guys that you're just going to give the ball and say, here, do your thing. Chris Middleton, he's shown that, he's shown flashes that he can, score the ball or whatnot whenever there's heated pressure on him. He played really well in this series.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was really surprised. But he played well.
But Milwaukee, they're a team that they're gonna need somebody in order to. They're gonna need a scorer in order to get over that hump. Because Giannis, he can do it for you in 3 quarters. I'm not saying that like Giannis is a bad player or anything. He's not gifted or anything. But his playing style in a half court set, like unless you're running him off of pick and roll screens, like he doesn't even have to be the ball handler. He can be the guy setting the pick.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. They need a point guard
because they can't build the wall if Giannis is already on the block and he's coming to set the screen. You know what I'm saying? So I think they heading into this offseason, they need to, make a couple phone calls, see who they can get over down there in Milwaukee, and see what you can get whoever that specific player is for. Hopefully they don't have to, spend too much money because it's a small market. They don't have top dollar like LA and New York and things like that. But they this offseason they definitely need somebody who can pass the ball in late situations.
I agree. And see like where your young players are at, the young talent like DiVincenzo, like those type of guys, can they develop their game to help them out as role players, because they need to step up too. Like it looked like DiVincenzo, like he came in the game and it was just a lot of pressure for him. Like he wasn't really ready for that moment. So kind of still getting adjusted to the NBA. Can they be those role players next year if Giannis ends up staying at the Bucks? But I also want to talk about the Heat. The Heat really impressed the whole world, whole basketball world about their performance, and now they're in the conference finals. So what do you like about the Heat?
I like their. First off, I like that they can play 10 deep, 10, 11 deep. They got shooters all around. An excellent playmaker in Jimmy Butler. He's a guy that, if you need 25 plus from me tonight, I'll do that. 10 rebounds, I'll do that. 50-50 balls, I'll grab them. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that he's all about the W. And we don't have too many superstars in this league, honestly, that are, thinking win first before their stats, their individual stats. So I think he's a very good fit in that system. Bam Adebayo was a really good pickup in the I forget what draft he was drafted in, but that is a guy that I still feel like he's really underrated because like he's just now getting buzz. Me personally, I think he should have been getting buzz because he's a big man that can, he can shoot the ball well. play inside, outside a little bit. And he also averages 6 assists at the power forward position. So I don't know. I think Miami, they're a very solid team. Like I said, they have really good shooters and coaching too. Like they have guys on that roster that, you know what I'm saying, have had deep playoff runs and won championships. Pat Riley, you know what I'm saying, like guys like that, like they're definitely headed in the right direction.
Yeah, Miami is definitely a winning franchise. No, I think just all across the board, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, Bam, they all just buy in, they all play, they're all hard workers, like they're blue collar guys, and that's why Miami works. Like that's why they're so good.
Yeah, and no one,
because they feed off each other's
energy. And another thing too about Miami, none of those guys, they don't do anything outside of what they cannot do. So like Tyler Hero
sticks to shooting threes.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson, I'm not putting the ball on the floor. I'm strictly coming off these off ball screens, on ball screens or whatnot, and I'm just gonna, you know what I'm saying, let it go and hope that it goes in. It's pretty good. It's pretty much gonna go in. They're, like I stated earlier in the podcast, they ranked second in 3-point shooting in the league after Utah. But I think let's talk about Game 5. Miami, I think they actually to start the game, they came out a little flat.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? Milwaukee, they kind of punched them in the mouth a little bit. You know, guys like Middleton, Wesley Matthews, they got going. And Wesley Matthews, he's played really well defense on Jimmy Butler, I might say. That's a guy that – and he actually – I noticed a lot that, like, he was actually putting the ball on the floor a lot in Game 5, and that's really unusual of him. I haven't seen him put the ball on the floor since Dallas, so I thought that was pretty neat to see. But as far as Milwaukee, them being shorthanded without their superstar in Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think they did the best that they honestly could do, you know, for a team to be shorthanded and backs against the wall, already down 3 games. I think Middleton, he did what he could do, but Miami, they just have too much firepower.
They do.
Like I said, they could play 10 deep. And, you know, those guys are all riding off each other's momentum and stuff.
Exactly. They can play big ball, small ball. Like, they can adjust to your lineup. Like, they're so easy. They have a whole bunch of guys who can defend different positions. So that's why Miami's so good. But, it started off slow, but then Miami kind of kicked it in the fourth quarter and really just beat them down. Like, basically, I don't really know how else to put it. Like, they really just beat them down.
In the second quarter, Miami, they actually outscored Milwaukee 33-18. So that's something to talk about.
But it's something else that's impressive. I don't know how they did it. Miami turned the ball 22 times and they still won the game. So it was, you got to be able to capitalize off the turnovers.
Yeah, Milwaukee, they didn't do enough of that. Obviously, their shot selection. I mean, like I said, they're so used to Giannis being their ball handler, not necessarily their ball handler, but having him have the ball in his hands and him just, you know what I'm saying, bulldozing through the paint or whatnot and hitting his open threes and stuff like that. But they don't, and that's why I have a problem with Mike Budenholzer. Like, you understand he might not have known because it was basically a game time decision for if Giannis was going to play or not. But you have to understand, like, you have in this league, he's shown that he doesn't rank. He can't be compared to the best of the best because he's been out-coached in multiple series. Like I said, in this series, you look at Milwaukee and they're like, what is their offense like? You know, like nobody's just too many people standing around.
Yeah.
Can we get like some floppy plays going on, some off-ball screens,
something,
flashes to the middle? I mean,
last night it was kind of like just give it to Middleton and let him make a play, and if he missed, we go run back on defense. Right. And we come back and do it again.
And Middleton, he's definitely not one of those guys who you can
just go get you a bucket. Like
he's not. If that's your game plan, then I'm sorry, you've already lost. No disrespect to Chris Middleton, he's a great player, but he's not one of those guys that like. He definitely did a good job in Game 4, as far as putting the team on his back, but there's only so much that a shooter can do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I believe it was he became an all-star for the first time last season. So, you know, he's already not one of those guys that are really built for carrying the load or whatnot.
Exactly. So if Miami turned the ball over that many times and the Bucks didn't have their superstar, you got to capitalize off of those turnovers to create offense. Because if you weren't creating offense in the half-court set, at least you could get them on the fast break points.
Right.
So Yeah, I just believe that Miami just really just beat them down this whole series with Giannis or without Giannis. It really didn't matter. The Bucks looked uncomfortable. They looked shocked that they lost last night.
In Milwaukee, they actually, since the restart, they actually have never gotten back to their
original form. Yeah, they weren't playing defense. They weren't really running what they usually do.
Those guys, they just I don't want to say they didn't look I don't want to say they looked uncomfortable or anything.
The only reason I say they looked uncomfortable because at the end of the game, all their faces just looked shocked. Like they just looked like they just looked defeated. They looked.
Well, yeah, you're the number one seed. You're one of the favorites for being a contender or whatnot, and you basically get swept in the second round.
Yeah, you got gentlemen swept. Yep.
So
they played under expectations, and
yeah,
that's it. That's all you can say, that they played under.
Yeah, but heading into the off season, they have to
address the scoring.
They have to find somebody who can, put the ball in the basket at any given moment. Middleton, he's not enough for doing all that, because he's an uprising shooter,
not an all-star, shooter.
Yeah, he's an all-star obviously, but not your typical all-star. This isn't one of those guys that you knew was going to be a great player. He kind of developed into that over time. But yeah, Milwaukee, they definitely have some concerns. As far as heading into next season, like I said, try to find some scoring, and then not just one guy. Try to go out and find multiple guys. Not like LA, they went out and got Dion Waiters, people like that. So
who create scoring. But as far as the Heat, what do you see them going into the conference finals?
I think they need to continue to ride Jimmy Butler's wave. Like Jimmy Butler, he's one of those guys that sets the tone off rip. I'm not taking no bullshit. I'm all about winning, and I'm gonna put my guys in the best position to win each game. But if they continue to, lock down on defense, play that Miami, they kind of play sort of a zone like. They'll throw it. I've seen, honestly, since the restart, I've seen a lot of zone-ish man.
And why do you think is that? Why do you think that, though?
Because the three-point shooting is elevated.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay.
Like you stated, 43% of the shots in the bubble have been from three. So I think a lot of teams, and there's been a lot of 3-point fouls as well.
I'm tired of seeing that. Actually, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing that.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's good for business. But yeah, that's definitely the main reason why there's been a lot of zone. Especially, it's weird too, because some of these teams that aren't even looked at as 3-point shooting teams, they've been knocking it down pretty well too. So I don't know if it's the atmosphere in the bubble or whatnot, but I don't know if they're getting real good treatment. But They've been shooting it lights out, most of these teams. But I think, once again, Miami, they just need to continue to play, be those underdogs. Like, play pissed off. Do all this stuff that got you here to this point. And do it twice as hard. You know what I'm saying? Because most I believe that Boston will wrap it up. I don't know if they'll do it in Game 6 or whatnot, but I believe they'll be playing Boston in this upcoming series, and that'll be interesting too, just because both teams
are hardworking, blue collar guys who gritty, just get after it, man.
Right, and willing to do whatever.
That's what you like to see.
Yeah.
So, our next topic, huge 2 coaching decisions, makings, what you want to call it. The Brooklyn Nets hiring Steve Nash. Hiring Steve Nash. That's crazy. And then Billy Donovan out of nowhere. We were not expecting this. Getting fired yesterday.
I want to talk about Billy Donovan.
Yeah, me too, because I'm kind of mad about that one. And I really do like Billy Donovan. His coaching history at Florida, won 2 titles there, and now coming to OKC. What did the man do? But nicely, you can start it off, man. I'm just speechless right now.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've been following Billy Donovan. I don't really, I don't care too much. I focus on the players for the most part. But I don't think in my opinion, he did all that he could with the team that he was given in those multiple seasons that he had. You lose KD. He obviously wasn't there. I think he may have been hired on either the season after, or I think it was 2 seasons later he was hired on. I'm not sure. So that had to be 2015, 2016, something like that. But like I said, I don't think he did as bad as, like, if anything, he exceeded expectations, especially this season. See, what I don't get about these GMs in the NBA is, like, nowadays you will really get fired for winning games, and it's kind of sad, and it almost makes you lose hope a little bit too, because it's like I always got to look over my shoulder whether I'm doing well or not. So, but I think Billy Donovan, he's an excellent coach. I'm looking at it right now. It says he was a coach for 5 seasons. Like I said, I think he did the best that he possibly could do.
I think he did too. Like that roster was young. Had Darius Baisley, had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
He developed
some
lot
nice
of guys.
Exactly,
too. A lot of guys, and their offense it flowed pretty well.
It did.
With Westbrook and Chris Paul. I think it was more efficient this year.
Yeah.
Just because, you got a veteran.
CP3 is a better leader than Westbrook, but yeah.
I think he's a better decision maker for sure. Yeah. Leader, I mean, that it is what it is. That's all opinionated.
Yeah.
There's no true fact behind it. But it's honest. I think it's sad. But who do you think they should go after in this upcoming season?
Well, since they got young guys, you know me, I'm a big on Mark Jackson. Developing young guys. But I also like Tyronn Lue too.
Is Mark Jackson even looking for a coaching?
I don't think he is. I think he likes broadcasting, bro.
Yeah, I think Golden State really disrespected him.
He really
did a great job of developing Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green. Like, he really helped those guys work on their shots and everything. So I would love to see him in any coaching uniform.
But if the Thunder want to win now, then I would go with Tyronn Lue, just because he has championship experience. He won in 2016 with LeBron and Kyrie and that Cavs team. So if they want to win now, then I would go with Tyronn Lue. But if you're trying to develop young guys and start this new Thunder generation, then I would go with Mark Jackson, because he can develop young guys. I think Shai can be a 20-point scorer. I think Darius Baisley can be a 15-10 guy maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have young guys and
maybe
young
not
pieces.
10 boards, but
Yeah, but they got young pieces that can really help out and develop, and they have a good roster. I really like the Thunder. And don't forget about Lou Dort. I think he can.
Yeah, uprising star.
Like, I think he can show out as a third star with Shai, Darius, and Darius. So I think they have a bright future ahead, but they just really need to find a good coach that will bring them together.
And I'm sorry, I have to go back to this, but Donovan, he was actually his record was in his 5 seasons, it was 243 and 157.
See, that's not bad at all.
You're firing guys who won 60% of the games. Like, you're easily above 500. I don't understand.
So are they just going off the playoffs now? Like, how you perform in the playoffs? Does regular season not matter? What is going on?
It, because it's like, outside of Billy Donovan, like, there's not too many coaches in this league. There are great coaches in this league, but there's not too many that are good at developing guys individually.
Exactly.
I think Billy Donovan did an exceptional job. Like you said, guys like Lou Dort, Darius Baisley, even though Darius Baisley, it's only like his first or second year or whatnot.
Yeah, he took a whole year off of basketball just to.
Yeah, but still, like, these guys were still able to, come clutch in the postseason, and come clutch basically the entire season. Like, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe Oklahoma City, they were the best clutch shooting team in the entire league.
I believe it.
But as far as who they need to hire, I mean, it just depends on what you guys are looking to do in the future. Like, you're obviously looking to build on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, he looks like your main guy that you want to build around. So my thing is build around that and pick a coach that really suits his style.
Right.
So.
But speaking of coaches that suiting styles, Steve Nash was a new Brooklyn Nets hire.
Crazy.
I really don't know how to feel about it, given the fact that he has no coaching experience in this league. I can just basically base it off of his,
his play.
Basketball knowledge and his career.
His IQ. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what to think. It was kind of random. I think just because he has a good relationship with KD, that's why he got hired. But to be honest, in my opinion, I think that he will do a good job. I think they just need shooting around KD and Kyrie. And I think that with his knowledge, his basketball knowledge, really just his basketball knowledge, will help that team out. We'll get Jared Allen to be a more aggressive center and scoring center, because they definitely need him to be scoring a little bit more. We already know what he can do on the defensive side. He doesn't need to score 20 points.
I'm going to correct you on that. I don't think he needs to become a scorer. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Not really a score, not 20 points. I need at least 10, bro.
No, I definitely understand it. Just finish around the basket.
Yeah.
Say that. I don't say become a scorer, because people, you know what I'm saying, they get misled.
Okay, but him, they need shooting. Develop Jared Allen to finishing around the rim, and then also, other than that, and Karis LeVert. Him becoming either a 6-man, what are you gonna do with him? Because he's showing that he can score, in like 20 points a game. Like he can be that guy.
I really do respect Spencer Dinwiddie. I like his game. He's a guy that can, you know what I'm saying, give you 30 any given night. But I think with Karis LeVert's
development,
not even his development, just his demeanor. Like I like everything about him. He's one of those guys where it's like, I don't really care. I know my role. And I'm gonna play my role the best that I possibly can. That's a guy where if Kyrie or anybody goes down, okay, give me the ball, get the hell out of the way. I'm gonna give us a basket and give us a chance to win the game. So I think maybe putting him as a 6-man, that might, you know what I'm saying, elevate his game. But Brooklyn, they're a question mark all around. I mean, we don't really know, because we weren't even able to really see Kyrie suit up for them this year. He only played a few games. I'm not sure how many off the top of my head, but you know, and them also implementing Kevin Durant, I think that'll be interesting. But they definitely will be, you know, contenders in the Eastern Conference, and I hope to see them possibly in playing in the finals representing Brooklyn. It's been a long time since we've seen the Nets play for a championship, since 2001, I believe. They played the Los Angeles Lakers.
So yeah, I think they just need to fix the off-season questions that everybody knows about the shooting, and how will Kyrie and KD play together?
I think superstars will figure it out. It's not. I don't think it's rocket science. A lot of people think, okay, like guys like, Carmelo Anthony, you know what I'm saying, Paul George, how are they going to mesh well together? I think at the end of the day, superstars, when it comes down to the get down, I think they'll figure it out. And especially with them being close friends, I think they'll be able to.
Yeah, I think they understand. Yeah, I think they understand each other, because everybody be saying in the league that Kyrie's such a question mark and he's off the grid and all this stuff. Like, he doesn't really know.
He's one of those guys that he's one of those guys that I think is really misunderstood.
Yeah, I believe so too.
But in all reality, I see Brooklyn. They're headed in the right future. They're headed in the right direction. You know, the hiring of Steve Nash. I mean, that's somebody who's respected in this league. You know, he played multiple seasons, got an MVP, has had, you know what I'm saying, historical postseason moments or whatnot. But I think Brooklyn this is more so a fill out year. I don't think they're really expecting to go all the way, especially with KD coming off of his injury. But I guess we'll see.
We'll see, man. I think Steve Nash will do a good job. You think he'll do a good job or no?
I mean, I could say he could. I could say he wouldn't. But I think he has enough basketball knowledge in order to put this team in the right positions. So I think overall he'll be pretty well.
Okay. Well, that wraps up the episode, guy. Thank you so much for tuning into the first official Ball Fake podcast.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
And we're going to come back with more basketball news, more basketball analysis, and we'll see you guys later. We love you guys.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. And make sure y'all stay tuned. We're going to be making some social media pages that you guys can follow and keep up on when we'll be posting on our podcast or whatnot. But as far as episodes in the near future, as far as being on schedule and all that, we're not entirely sure, just given the fact that we don't know when college basketball season will start and the NBA season, their games and stuff like with it ending, we don't know when. I don't know. We don't know when the season and stuff will end. So I mean, it'll be a little bit before we get have a set schedule, like when we'll be posting and everything. But other than that, we appreciate you guys listening once again. We hope to gain a big following locally and, you know what I'm saying, globally one day.
Yep.
But
Appreciate
grinding. Y'all. Y'all have a good one, and we're out.
Thank you.